You hit the timer and we're not. Well, we are live. Unfortunately, we're live. Oh boy, we're at it again. We just don't give up. Don't give up. Like every week we look at that viewer count and it's like it shows 0 over and over again. And every week we keep trying. And why do people get on the show?
And is this recorded? Are people watching my reaction to this right now?
But it's a live video, and live videos, you know, the way live videos work in social media is they're visible later. And this is no, we don't. These shameful moments, you know, forever and ever. And there's no way you'll ever get them.
Oh,
you have to send out.
Hey, here's something new. Watch this, Daniel.
Nice. Oh, this is new. Yeah, but that's amazing.
That'll keep you up at night, won't it?
Oh wow, these are old photos, man. Oh my
right?
gosh. I was gonna have short hair. Wow. That was when I had a husband too. That was a long time ago.
Jump the shark. Yeah, I came up today in my TikTok show, and
what, your shark?
The shark came to visit me in another show. No, it was that would have been awesome actually. If I would bring that shark and just randomly show up in TikTok.
Shout out to May King's awesome laugh. I don't know if Daniel, if you're watching the comments and stuff.
We got comments. We got a viewer. I mean, we got. Yeah. And Leo, he treats us as his, you know, he's our social worker. He comes to us so we don't.
We are in Clubhouse, yes.
Oh, Clubhouse.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's going on.
Wow, these photographs are amazing.
Doghouse, if you don't know, is the app where you can go and bark about anything you think you're an expert at. And you've got nobody. No bite. You can go and bark as much as you want. Nobody gets hurt.
Really?
Yeah, you can go and you can meow too, but
I love how Tim Sohn like calls out everybody who's not here. Like he guilt trips everybody into like you really should be here, and we're aware of the fact that you're not.
I like this theme better. What do you think?
Alrighty, let's do this thing.
Wow, that is hilarious.
Yeah, you know, calling out is like 2020.
You look like someone who knows your tea. How do we do it properly? I mean, what is a right way of making a cup of tea, or isn't there one?
It's a personal preference, I suppose, and also it depends on how many people you're serving to. So if you're having a group of friends who are making tea too, it might be quite nice to make it in a teapot.
There you go. That's killer advice right there. Depending on how many people, you might want to make it in a teapot.
It's we just the two of us here, and we hear voices in the background. This reminds me of that new app Clubhouse. It's like, why don't we just turn off the video? Just make it, you know, let's just do this here. Hey guys, I'm in Clubhouse. Chad isn't.
That's because I'm an Android user.
Live.
I'm an Android user, so I have to keep my video on.
And you've actually got a job, so you're, you're. There's one thing, you know what you can find in Clubhouse? Plenty of speakers. You need a speaker for your show for anything. You're gonna find them in Clubhouse.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know, I saw this post I won't name names. I won't call out people like Michael Stelzner who posted they were on Clubhouse, and a lot of people love Clubhouse. They love Clubhouse. I can't hear myself from all this. It's no sound effect. It's true, and it's really this laugh here. And so a lot of people on Clubhouse, and they posted their iPhone stats of how much time they were spending on Clubhouse per day. And I was seeing people there with like hours and hours of Clubhouse, and I was like, wow, that's a viral model for yeah. Got to copy that.
You used to be a
somehow.
viral model, though, weren't you?
I was contagious, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, like STDs or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. Daniel, the viral model Glickman. That's what they called him in high school.
Here, our motto on this show is break everything and anything. So we're going to break Clubhouse. We're going to break you. We're going to break the audio and the video on this show. And if you're a guest here, well, you better get ready because we're going to go for it. So, Chad, who have we got as a guest today?
Well, we have the one and only, and they can't hear her right now, but we actually do hear her. And so I don't know if she's going to talk at all. She may just laugh the entire show because that's pretty much all that's happened so far. But it is the lovely May King. And Tsang, I think I think I heard her say at one time, and of course I'm probably wrong because it's Subpellucid, and chances are it'll be one of many things I screwed up. But let's bring her in, and May King can correct us.
You have 10 minutes to make me a terrific cup of tea using any methods that will help to improve the appearance and the flavour of the tea. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, brew!
Hello. So 10 brownie points, Chad, because you did pronounce my name correctly. It is making Tsang, and you don't pronounce the T. And gosh, thank you so much. I probably am going to laugh through the whole of this show. If you keep on with jokes like that, I don't know if we are going to be able to talk about FOMO at all. But yes, Clubhouse, oh my gosh. I literally, I've had loads of invitations to it. And I finally relented today, I don't know, peer pressure or something. And then I got a quick course on Clubhouse and what it was all about. So if I didn't get that quick, quick 101 on what Clubhouse is all about, I probably wouldn't have understood your jokes, Daniel.
I have to interrupt you there because it's a little rude to throw it out there that you've had tons of invitations, because I've seen other people out there begging like they're out on the street for an invitation. But May King's like, no. I've gotten thousands of invites.
They don't call me the FOMO creator for nothing, right? Well, actually, no one calls me the FOMO creator. Only I call myself the FOMO creator. But I've had a few, and I wondered whether it was going to be another one of those acts where people get so excited about it and then it falls over in a couple of months. But Gary V did his first speaking session a couple of days ago, and one of my Instagram contacts actually was in that session. So it was pretty exciting for her and also for everyone in Clubhouse, because he'd been monitoring it for quite a while, apparently 6 months or something before and he hadn't been speaking, and he spoke for a couple of days ago. So sounds like it's going to go up like that.
Yes. Well, he said the same thing about Snapchat, but whatever.
Well, okay. Well, that's true too. That's true. But I was giggling about, Daniel's joke about the speakers, because a few people warned me that Clubhouse can be really addictive. So that probably is why people are on it for hours on end. So anyway, this isn't about Clubhouse, is it? What are we going to talk about today, chats?
Well,
talking about you.
We're going to talk about you. So, Daniel, should we just go ahead and go right into that?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a different format, so it's I don't even know what we're doing as usual. Let's just go
never
right
known what we were
into
doing since day one.
Hang on.
Getting to know all about you.
Getting to know what to say. It's one of my favourite musicals. Oh my gosh, I'm on a pink couch.
And be careful what you do on it, because we had to have it Scotch guarded after our last guest.
You never know where this couch has been. It's you gotta.
Oh my goodness. Right then.
So Leo Mandel said something's gone wrong, and May King is talking sense. This doesn't happen on Subpellucid. So I don't know if his comment had something more to do with that was happening on our show, or does he know you real well and is used to you not making sense?
I don't know. Who was it who made that comment?
Oh, I'm gonna need Leo. I'm gonna need you when you have a moment. If you could do a follow-up comment on your comment, and we'll just sit.
Chad, I think that comment was directed at us, not at.
Hey, let's let him explain himself.
You should bring him on the show.
He's scheduled in a few weeks. It's like I kind of tracked how our shows like trended downward, and it's about the week he comes on as rock bottom.
Yeah, every week we think it's rock bottom, and every week Leo Mandel will testify it's not. So we're and he's that. I think that's what keeps him coming back, is that suspense, waiting to see when is that rock bottom going to actually. Yeah.
Daniel, last time we were together at a conference, actually, you told me I had a rock bottom.
If it ain't on tape, it never happened. But I'm just gonna.
Daniel's left the building. So May King, listen, we obviously what we do with this show is we dig in to try to find a little bit about you and then find some things to maybe ask that maybe other people aren't aware of, because obviously we hear FOMO and blah 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 all the time from you, but there were a lot of things I really didn't know that were interesting, especially with your expertise with tea. And so one of the questions I had. Is your preference English breakfast or Chinese tea?
Oh, wow. That's like saying...
I don't know, because I really have no idea what either one of those are.
Well, I'm going to try and draw an analogy. That's kind of like saying, do you prefer a Sauvignon Blanc or a bottle of red? That's basically what you just said to me, because... And like Chinese tea, red wine doesn't all look the same. It's over 3,000 different varieties. So Chinese tea is well, it's not even a classification, but there's lots of different types of tea that comes from China. There's also 4 other fantastic traditionally 4 other fantastic producing tea countries as well. But the US also produces some of their own tea as well. And I've had the privilege of tasting some of those. Been to a plantation in the States. So when people ask me what is my favorite tea, I will say to them, I literally open up my tea cupboard and see what jumps out at me, because why have a favorite when there's over 3,000, 4,000 different types of teas out there, and that's even before you've added any herbs or spices or flowers on top of that. So it's a very difficult question.
Wow.
It's what I wake up in the morning, I think, okay, I'm going to look in my collection, and then something kind of jumps out at me.
Tim Sohn got a little confused. He said a what or a what? And just Tim to help Tim out. Tim, it's like trying to. Do you prefer a brown bear or a browner bear?
Tim Sohn is one of those
Tim.
It would be the equivalent of asking most Americans, would you like a red wine or a white wine? And they'll say, just give me a Bud Light. And Tim would say, just give me a Dunkin'.
No, Tim, whenever we see each other online, he always says, hey, making coffee, as opposed to making tea. So, yes, he said, tea, what's that now? Lovely to see you, Tim, and Happy New Year. Oh, and Happy New Year to you two chaps, too.
Thank you, and to you.
I just love watching Chad's face every time I mention somebody's name, and Chad is like, "What's Daniel going to say now?"
Do I have a relationship that's about to end? That's really.
So we were trying to understand a bit of your history, and we have a few of these like short questions here, but they unpack a bit more, so it gives you an opportunity to let us get to know you. So, are you Aussie or are you a Brit?
I am a Brit who lived in Australia for 6 years, but I can literally speak to someone with a strong accent for about 10 minutes, and I end up imitating their accent. It's the ultimate form of flattery, is what I heard. So there may be an Aussie twang in there because I lived there for 6 years, but I'm actually a Brit. I call myself a BBC, British-born Chinese.
Well, there you go.
That was it.
There you go.
Now we have another question that we kind of Daniel would come up with, but I'm gonna skip it because I have something else I want to ask. I want to know.
Because that's not important, he's only like a co-host.
What's he gonna do? Fire me? So, being a tea expert, I want to know what your feelings are, because my wife, it's absolutely her favorite thing. That's what she drinks all day long. Is Southeast Texas, Louisiana sweet tea.
Yes. I forgot what the question was.
I just want to know what your feelings are on that. Is that tea, or is that like blasphemous? Is that like
right?
A
No, do you know what? No, it's absolutely not blasphemous. I had the pleasure of experiencing sweet tea, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing, because I think because I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't assume, but places that have sweet tea tend to be in really hot climes, right? Is that right?
It's the southern United States.
Yeah.
And it's sweet. It's like, you could pour it on your pancakes. Sweet.
But I think maybe, I don't know whether it's true, but it's my, I don't know. I just think, I remember when I lived in Australia, and it was just so hot that you tend to feel a little bit, sleepy, under par, and I think you need that sugar hit in order to give you energy. But, and also I think that, Chinese people and us Brits, we like to drink hot teas to cool us down, which sounds like a crazy ass idea, but the whole idea behind it is that when you drink hot tea, it makes you perspire, and it's the sweat that cools you down. Whereas if you drink sweet tea, you get an instant cool down, and you get also the sugar hit too at the same time, so it sort of energizes you. So I think I loved sweet tea when I had it. Where did I have it? I don't remember, but anyway, it was an incredible experience. I thought it was great. So yeah, it's not blasphemous at all. I don't think it is. I'm sure a lot of other tea experts will be thinking, "Oh my God, that making, what should you just say?" But no, I think it's a wonderful experience.
Well, there you go. Excellent.
There you go.
That explains a lot, because when I was in China, we couldn't find any cold water. It's always hot. Water is always served hot. And I always thought it was a way of basically boil the water before they serve it, so just to make sure it's clean. but it turns out no, it's actually to cool you down. Super interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and in fact,
I don't buy it, by the way.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the guy who is being credited for discovering tea is an old apothecary from 2737 BC, Shen Nong, and some tea leaves purportedly fell down into his cup. And he was way ahead of his time because he used to boil his water before he drank it. And so when these tea leaves accidentally fell into his cup, suddenly it gave him more energy. That's the caffeine in it. And then that was how tea was born. So, yeah, the notion of boiling water to get rid of chemicals and all the dirt and bits and pieces, there is an element of truth to that. And in fact, my parents, and I've been brought up on it as well, I don't drink cold water. I tend to drink hot water that's been cooled down. I'd rather have it boiled. It's just something, even though, British water is absolutely fine to drink. Tap water is absolutely fine to drink, but just because of the way that I've been brought up, it's cold water is not my cup of tea. Boom, boom. Laughing at my own joke, sorry.
So Chad had a question, but I'm going to skip it in order to ask the audience a question. And so Leo has this habit. He will post every week here. He will post this code, set of numbers in the comments. I put them on the screen now, and I know what they mean. Chad knows what they mean. But if anybody else can figure out what this means, you'll get a big. I don't know. What did they get, Chad?
I don't know. I got nothing to give anybody.
They get to watch the show next week. So yeah, see if you can figure out what that number means. May King.
Daniel will send you his own personal hair dye kit.
Already used. Second hand.
I was actually showing off my makeup kit today for the Tech Talk, but we'll get into that a different time. So, it's very simple stuff. So where were we? Okay, yeah. So herbal tea, which is not a tea. Don't stop calling herbal tea, right? It's not tea. It's an herbal infusion for all of us snobs. We like that. But speaking of tea, what is a Gongfu ceremony, and why is that something you can you demonstrate it? Like what?
Well, no. So Gongfu actually is very similar to the words that we will have all heard of in the Western world, Kung Fu. Okay, and Kung Fu is identified with martial arts, but the true meaning of Kung Fu or Gong Fu is the art and skill of doing something well. So a Gong Fu tea ceremony that's performed by a Gong Fu tea master is the art and skill of, believe it or not, making tea really well. Now, Gong Fu tea ceremony is, it's almost like a performance. And I remember when I first moved to Australia, actually, I got loads of people who talked to me and they'd say to me, I went to China and I went into this Chinese tea ceremony and I got ripped off because all I got was a thimble of tea. And I couldn't understand why they were, well, first of all, complaining about it, because I thought it was an incredible performance. And then that was when, after a few people had mentioned it, I sort of looked back and reflected on it and realised that, and I was able to do this because I was born in the UK. So, the UK, we all love our tea as well. It was because in the Western world, we like our teas in a mug, the tea bag thrown in, kettle boiled quickly, you go and watch the TV, whilst the kettle's being boiled, and then you come back, you stick your hot water in, you sort of squeeze the tea bag to the end of the tea mug, add your milk in, sugar, wham bam, thank you ma'am. And that's how you make a cup of tea. But back in the day, in the 50s, and before the big supermarkets came along in the Western world, even in America and Australia, we used to have a tea ceremony, the Western tea ceremony, which was to have a teapot, a tea, you know, with loose leaf tea and your cups and saucers, and you used to bring along cakes and all the rest of it. But when the invention of the tea bag came along and the supermarkets, and we wanted fast and convenience, we've lost the art of making tea. Now, the Gongfu tea ceremony, it is all about the ceremony, you know, to have a tea master to make a cup of tea for you, but you know, you get involved in the whole tea making process, the smelling of the loose leaf tea, the aroma, the pouring of the water over the leaves to wash the tea leaves. But what you're actually doing is awakening the senses within the tea leaves, and there's a whole process behind it. So, you know, so the Western people, the tourists who were going to China, were kind of watching their watches, thinking, you know, when's the kettle going to come? When's it boiled and all? And they're missing a trick. So it's kind of like watching a Japanese play, but with no subtitles. And they weren't even watching it because they were waiting for that big mug with milk and sugar. Does that make sense? So the Gongfu tea ceremony is all about being involved in the process of making the tea, as well as having the tea at the end. And it's not about gulping, it's about savoring, it's about smelling, awakening all of your senses, and being involved in that process. Now, because a lot of people complain to me about being ripped off, then I realized that I could never call myself a tea master. But because I had a great understanding of British culture, Western culture and Chinese culture, I created my own ceremony where I actually talk through the whole process of awakening the senses of the tea leaves, boiling the water to a certain degree, you know, having the tea leaves infused for a couple of minutes or maybe a bit longer, and while we're having this thimble of tea effectively, and all the rest of it. So, so that is what a real long-winded way of saying what a Gongfu tea ceremony is. What my take on it is, compared to what the Westerners were seeing and why they were complaining, because they didn't understand it. Basically.
So you actually have your own making tea ceremony.
I have my own making tea ceremony. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. I also want to make sure that you understand that if you were watching it all, that my co-host was not laughing at you. He is watching comments, and our audience tends to be a bunch of wise guys who, you know, about this time of night, they are downstairs in their parents' basement where they live, and they watch this show. So,
well, they can mock away. It's all good. It's fine.
Well, Daniel, I have no idea what that was. Daniel, you want to move on to your new creation?
I love how you're immediately creating an alibi here.
Yes, if this sucks and doesn't work out, this was Daniel's idea. This next part.
This is Daniel. Well, let's move on to the segment we call.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. This is an official statement by Making Tsang. Yes, I did, in fact, dance like crazy to Bruno Mars and didn't realize I was being recorded. That was me. Watching all those moves there.
Well, we just got started because we looked up a bunch of stuff and we found some things that you actually did and some things that maybe you didn't, but we thought, well, you could have. So we have a list of things here, and we want to ask you, did you actually do that? And see if if you even know.
Yeah, no, I did. So that was actually a festival that was held, I think it was nearly 2 years ago, when we were allowed to play. And I was asked to create FOMO for that festival with the aim of, you know, people getting so excited about it that they want to buy tickets for next year's event. So, you know, but it's all, you know, it's not all work, you know, I've got to rest a little bit. So I took a little bit of a break, and there was an amazing band that was doing some incredible covers, and I just took a break, and one of the assistants to the video, the camera crew who were doing the official camera stuff, I was doing the FOMO stuff, they were doing the camera stuff, she just caught it on her phone, and it was absolutely hilarious when I mean, you can actually see the point when I realized, oh my God, she's filming me. Hilarious. I'll just carry on.
Yeah, the video,
anyway, the video, such a good time.
The video actually started with your
intro.
The video actually started with your back turn. It's interesting. You know, you're the first person to use this particular scene that we're doing with the podium and the mics, and some of our former guests are jealous and are begging to come back on the show. Just so they can have their chance. And the ones who are doing it are probably the last people I want to give a microphone to. So look, Daniel, we actually have a list of things. We're going to bring them up on the screen for everybody else to see, but Daniel will read them to you. So he will ask if these are things that you actually did. So I'm going to pop the first one up there.
Oh, you probably need that feature to have me appear on the bottom left to see my actual reaction to it. That would be a really good one for a future show.
That would be a good one for a future show. So we wanted to know, have you ever compared the Prince of Wales to the Prince of Darkness?
Yes, I did. I actually did, but in all fairness, to my credit, it wasn't me. It was the incredible, fantastic Kenda McDonald, who has written an incredible book called Hack the Buyer Brain. And she was talking about customer personas, because traditionally in marketing, you're supposed to have these avatars that you're supposed to market to, this, that, and the other. So in her book, and I don't read many books, spoiler alert, but I did read some of hers, and it was fascinating because she had this customer avatar. And so this avatar was both suitable for Prince Charles and the Prince of Darkness. So she was basically explaining that customer avatars are just, you know, they're not enough. You need to do way more to absolutely lift your customer experience game more than the traditional avatar that we're told in marketing. So I can't take the credit for it, but I was absolutely fascinated when I read it, and that's why, yes, I did actually compare Ozzy Osbourne to Prince Charles.
Yeah, it's interesting. If anybody was to pop in right now, just at the bottom of the screen, it just says compare the Prince of Wales to the Prince of Darkness with a question mark, and they'd have no idea that we're playing a game or what's going on. They would just be like,
oh my goodness. Oh, but yes, that's funny. Did you see that from a tweet? Is that where you got that from?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. You tweeted about it. That's where it came from. Yeah, wow. I'll post a link to the tweet.
Some people waste hours on Clubhouse. We spend it going through your complete social media history.
There you go.
I love this game. I so love this game. It's incredible. You guys are amazing. This is so funny. All right, hit me with another one.
So did you open a Clubhouse room called T-Many?
No.
Or you would pronounce it T-Many, wouldn't you?
T-Many. No, I didn't. No. Because I literally went on for 5 minutes Clubhouse today after having thousands of invitations, like I said before. It wasn't really thousands.
Hilarious.
Okay, well, we've got another one here. Let's see. Did you refuse for an arranged marriage when you were 16 years old?
Yes, I did. Well, No, so yes, but no, but what happened was on the day of my 16th birthday, yes, my parents actually, so there were lots of Chinese families apparently that literally came knocking on my parents' door and said, we hear, you know, your daughter's of marriageable age now, and full credit to them, although they probably regretted the decision. They said, no thanks, we will let Mei King find her own partner. But they didn't actually say, well, they did actually say to me and my sister, you know, when we were growing up, they had to be Chinese, you know, and yeah, they can't not be Chinese, and I kind of didn't do that. So my first marriage was actually to a white person, a white guy, and they disowned me for I think it was about 18 months, and then gradually I sort of won them back. It took a long time to do that, and funnily enough, obviously I love my parents, but when that marriage ended, I almost expected them to say, see, did I tell you white guys are so bad, rah, rah, rah. But my dad was so incredible. He was so supportive. And even though my marriage had ended, I was, you know, in bits, I was in pieces. But my dad, you know, got me a solicitor to get through the proceedings quickly as possible, just so that I can get on with my life. So I'm forever grateful to my dad for doing that. You're going to make me cry in a minute. Oh my goodness.
Subpellucid, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah. We've had grown men cry on this show. You're in good company.
And Mr. Kaplan, the show is not about
not just me. Oh man, yeah, we had plenty of people cry in the audience too. Like, why am I watching this? Yeah, we've had plenty of that.
When it's over, they're like, what did I just do with the last hour of my life?
I wonder if anybody thinks, you know, nobody has empathy to us, thinking like, you know, all the hours we put into this, and thinking, you know, why, you know, poor guys, why are they, you know, aren't they sorry? So, how about
you guys should get full credit. I mean, to go through people's, you know, social media and find all these incredible questions, it's amazing. There was a show in the UK. Yeah, kind of creepy too. But there was a show in the 70s and 80s where there was a host with a big red book, and it was called "This Is Your Life," and they would bring on celebrities and go through pivotal moments in their life. So this kind of feels like my "This Is Your Life," as it were. So,
right. And we don't typically get celebrities. I mean, we've had Tim Sohn on. So, I mean, just to kind of give you an idea of what our show's like.
But then you decided you had to lift the game, and that's why you invited me
exactly.
as a first guest on this show, right?
I told Daniel it's time to get a higher caliber guest and to expand, become international.
But the trick is, we can only bring people on that have never watched the show. The good news is that's very easy to do. So yeah, there's another perk to the show. You can say anything you want. Nobody will ever know.
This is a safe place, right? Safe space right here.
How about?
I didn't get the safe word. I didn't get the safe word before the show came on.
Subpellucid. You're on Subpellucid. That's all you need.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need. And as long as you don't say now more than ever, Chad will stay on with us. So next one, we've got. How about this? Blowing off a singing career in order to get an IT job.
Well, if you squeeze in a college and university degree and a waitressing job, if you squeeze in all of those years, then yes, I could have had a hit single when I was 15, as opposed to having my IT career that started when I was 22. Backstory time. My parents owned a chip shop, right? And people would, come in and order their fish and chips, or they'd order a chicken chop suey, whatever it is they ordered. And these group of lads would come in every Friday, and they were a band, and they were rehearsing on Friday. And after, rehearsing, then they'd come in and have some, have a Chinese, right? And I got talking to one of them, and they said they were looking for a singer. So I said, I sing. And they came in every Friday, right? And they said, that's good to know. So I was waiting, and this is a great lesson for business, right? And I guess I should tell the story in the book when I write a business book, because I waited for them to come the following Friday so that we can discuss the rehearsal times and when I come. They didn't come, and they didn't come for weeks after. So I was like, oh, darn it. And then eventually they did come. It turned out they hired a session singer or somebody, and it happened to be a hit single. So obviously the lesson of the story, kids, is that if you see an opportunity, don't wait for it to come. Grab it with both hands. I should have insisted on them giving me a phone number, or they can have my phone number. It was back in the days of landline, so no internet or anything like that. But that's what I should have done. But I waited for them to come to me, and of course it didn't happen. So that could have been, me when that hit single went to #1. Yes, and I'll tell that story when
that was the difference between millions of dollars and being a guest on Subpellucid.
Yeah, that's right.
How about this one? Did you actually interview Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell? No.
No.
Was it someone who kind of looked like me? I mean, do us Chinese Brits all look the same? No, but I did have the pleasure of interviewing Guy Kawasaki how many years ago?
And he's kind of like an Asian version of Will Ferrell.
But he's a celeb in the social media marketing world, right? That's how I mean, like he's a celebrity in that way.
At this point, he's just a celeb. Like, he's not niched anymore. He's just like big enough to just be called a celebrity.
That's true. That's true. So that was a long time ago on a podcast, well, it's funny because my co-host said that we had a spat, we had an argument, and I listened to it back and I thought, I wasn't sure whether it was a heated argument or not, but anyway, yeah. So that's my sort of nearest. Yeah, he's a celeb. Yeah, and that was many years ago when I think he just become the ambassador for Canva. Oh no, was he still the ambassador for Apple? I can't remember. It's a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, either one. Yeah, I love how you put the R at the end of Canva, so that explains. Or maybe it doesn't. Anyway, how about this last one? Did you actually sell over 10,000 teapots during, I guess, your tea career?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Well, that ends this segment.
Wouldn't be the
Actually, there was one last one.
Oh. Have you ever asked in an interview, do you have a wee dawn of whiskey in that pouring of yours? Chad, what the? I didn't write that.
A wee dram of whiskey in that sporran of yours. It sounds like that is a making thing, but I can't think where I might have said it.
Let's help you. Let's help you out. We can help you out.
The biggest question is, do you have a wee dram of whiskey in that sporran of yours? And I was actually sober as a judge, and I can't believe I don't remember that one. Yes, that was an incredible evening because it was just after an awards ceremony that I created FOMO for, and all evening I was doing these incredible interviews with the mic and all this kind of stuff. My mic was broke all evening. I didn't even notice. So
Yeah, it took me a minute to pull out exactly what you were saying there. Hey, listen.
So visually,
we're actually,
that looks amazing. But
we got a couple more things we want to do with you, but before we do, just because we know this show is exhausting for people, we always make sure that we do this next little bit for them, just to let them, run to the bathroom, grab a drink. I'm sure they need it.
Language of English.
I'm actually okay, so if you want to go on, it's fine. Without the intermission.
This intermission is, yeah, we told you.
We prefer you don't leave.
Yeah, we've had people leave during the intermission and show up, like, yes, we actually have.
Oh my goodness.
So this is a fan favorite, this next little bit here, called Can You Explain This? And basically what we do is we, as you've already figured out, is go through your social media profiles and we pull up this, that, and whatnot, and just little things where we think maybe there's a fun story, and sometimes we find out we were wrong. Sometimes we find out it was something you didn't want to remember, and we have to apologize and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's actually a lot of fun. So we've just got a few things we're going to run through. We won't spend too much time on them because I know people I don't know, want to watch paint dry or something that's much more exciting than our show, and we want to give them that opportunity. So without further ado, let's bring up our first item for bid.
Oh my gosh, this was a long time ago, and I have to be really, I'm going to apologize right now, because it was a dance that I was doing that Daniel's doing an incredible job of. I can't remember the name of the dance though, and I feel
I figured it was the one from the Napoleon Dynamite movie.
He was such a hipster. He was way better than one. Yeah. No, this was a traditional dance, I think.
Just
yes,
not anymore? Is that why you don't remember it? It was a tradition, but no longer.
Yeah, I killed it. Once they invited me, that was it. They said, yeah, we're not doing this ever again.
Tradition over. What about here? What's going on with this dance?
Do you know, I absolutely love that photograph, but I have no idea what was going on. I think there was...
seems to be kind of a trend here. Daniel.
We were giving out prizes, I think, and it was something to do with that. But hey, look at that, matching hats, Chad. Check that out.
Yeah. Bonnie and Clyde, as you said earlier.
There you go.
All right. Well, how about here? What do we got going on?
This is my first Gongfu tea ceremony that I did in Australia. There we go. So this is my own take where I was explaining to the people that were there the different varieties of tea. And, you talked about Chinese tea, Chad. What I had in the white porcelain cups at the front were the 6 categories of tea. So you've got white, green, black, oolong, pu'er, and I also had a flowering tea there as well. So I was just explaining all the different types.
See, I thought I'm from the South. I thought that was chewing tobacco.
We have a spittoon somewhere, I think. That was out of this shot. This was actually a wonderful memory because it was in San Diego at the Social Media Marketing Conference last year, and it was the last place that I was allowed to go to before lockdown happened. So this was just a wonderful breakfast.
Did Chrissy know that you were making fun of her face behind her?
We were told to pull a funny face with, I think Jen Cole was behind the camera, and then I think all three of us did a silly shot as well. So yeah, this was us having breakfast in San Diego in a fabulous place. And yeah, one of my most cherished memories, because we aren't allowed to play until we have the vaccine, of course. Part of one of the proudest things that I did was when I moved to Australia. It was to support my second husband. I'm not collecting them, by the way. I'm not getting married ever again. I'm just putting that out there. Went to support his career, but then I had to build my business from scratch all over again in a country that I didn't know anybody. And I used Google Plus. Do you remember those days, guys? And so I ranked pretty quickly for Gongfu Ceremony Brisbane, which was what? The Gallery of Modern Art.
Was there a lot of competition for Gongfu Tea Master Brisbane?
Probably not. However, the fact that they put those keywords in there and suddenly they found someone is pretty incredible. And so I got to work with an incredible artist, Chinese born, lives in New York now, called Tsang. Tsang had an exhibition at the Gallery of Modern Art, and part of the exhibition, he wanted a place for people to contemplate and to have a cup of his wonderful tea. So yeah, Brisbane Gallery of Modern Art, we're thinking, oh God, we've got to bring in a Gongfu tea master from China probably, so we Googled it, up I popped up everywhere, and this was me in the local paper, well, I actually went national as well, performing Chinese tea ceremony in the middle of the art exhibition. That's one of my proudest moments, actually.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was this one of your prouder moments too? I don't think that's tea.
So I do like a wee dram or two, not from
of whiskey and me sporin.
Yeah, not from a guy's sporin, but yes, we were having a whiskey tasting, and I happen to love cigars as well. So I think later on that evening, we also had a cigar or three. It wasn't a proper whiskey tasting because we've got lots of blends there. We've got Bundaberg rum. Well, I don't know how that
and it looks like you were drinking right out of the bottle.
Yeah. That was a very good evening. And you know what? This is a fun fact for you guys. A lot of Asians actually have a gene inside their bodies, which means they can't drink. It somehow bypassed my grandfather on my mum's side and my mum and me, so I can drink like a fish, and the next day I don't get a hangover. See, you guys are not my friends anymore, are you?
Wow. Oh no. Well, now you got me all geeked out about this. The Asian alcohol gene. I forget the name for it, but it's just basically it's not a bell curve distribution of how well people can process alcohol. In people of Asian origin are more likely to be in the extremes. Either they cannot process, they get drunk like extremely quickly, or they can drink a ton. And so if you're Korean or Japanese and you work for a boss that drinks a lot, has the other gene, and you have to go drinking with them after work each time, and you got and you cannot process alcohol and you get drunk, you're in trouble. It's not going to be easy, but the other way around is easier. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is actually not another event, which is not hugging the bear was one of my proudest moments, but it was a food festival, and the food festival was exactly what it is. My proudest moment was that there is a gardening celebrity who regularly shows up on TV, and he had a show before myself. So I watched his show, and he had about 40 people there, And when I had my show, I had 70 or 80 people there, and that was all down to social media. So I was rather proud of that moment. Now, unfortunately, because I was performing and I was there all by myself, I wasn't able to take a picture to compare with the guys, his audience. But in my head, I was giggling to myself and I'm thinking, yeah, I kind of know what this social media thing is all about. So that was part of this this festival. Have no idea what that teddy bear's name is, but he gave me a hug. That's all cool.
Well, here's another fun little fact for you. You were the first one to use the podium earlier in the show, and you've inspired others to apparently start a Subpellucid drinking game.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I was just talking about this the other day because, again, this was what got me into the power of social media, because this particular lady is Australia's #1 body painter. And I was lurking on social media, like we all do, right? And I saw Anki's stuff, and she created this beautiful Victorian boot on a woman's torso with some flowers over the top. And I said jokingly, do you do commissions? And she said, well, actually, I was thinking of doing a teapot on you, but I wasn't sure whether you'd be up for it. So we did it. It took, and you know what us women are like? I don't know what you guys are like. You're confident with your body, but us women, we're not confident with our bodies. So, oh, I'm too fat, I can't do this, and all the rest of it. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna really go out there, and jump out of my comfort zone, all in the name of tea and art. I'd already performed with, a New York artist. Why not have a teapot painted on? It took 4 hours. Took 4 hours to do. One of my proudest moments, though, because Anki's husband is a photographer, and he, initially he was taking photographs, and I was like really shy. I was like, ooh. And because he was so, he'd seen body parts and this, that, and the other. And so after an hour or two, we were just chatting, and he had to remind me to come myself up because I was so comfortable in his presence. But that was such an incredible moment. Now, what was so powerful was that within 20 minutes of Anki putting that post up on Facebook, and I put it on Twitter, and we put it, Instagram wasn't around then, so it was Facebook and Twitter. Within 20 minutes of her putting the paintbrush down, she got a phone call, said, do you do commissions? And that is the power of social media. So to be associated with Australia's #1 body painter, and to be a model, effectively, I can say that now, add that to my accolade, is one of my proudest moments. And I was reminded of this photograph because, funnily enough, I got given an incredible gift of a tea canister this year. And on the tea canister itself, it's got that very same teapot on the tea canister. It was incredible. So, that was one of my proudest moments. One of my saddest moments, because actually what was going on in the background was I was going through an unexpected divorce, unexpected immigration battle. I was starving. I went down to 1 meal a day, but I had to run a business and try and, make money to make the rent and all that kind of stuff. So that was why my body looked so amazing at that time, because I was eating noodles, noodles and lettuce for about 6 months. And that's how I got that. Oh my goodness, is this one of the first photographs from Facebook? I think it probably is. You really did stalk and do the research on me, didn't you? This was a hen party.
This is how Chad and I pass our weekend.
Who needs Clubhouse when you can stalk your guests?
Yeah. You'll never get this from
Clubhouse. Your social media profiles while you're off to Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this was a fabulous hen party that we had in Barcelona, and the theme was to dress like 1920s Slappy girls, and actually that weekend was tinged with happiness and sadness as well. But we got through it. You don't need to hear the story. But yes, it was a wonderful friend of mine who, spoiler alert, is still married.
The pink hair kind of gives it like a 1920s meets anime kind of a.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's right. Yes. So this was us. We wanted to make an entrance coming into Barcelona, and we certainly did that. And we had a bit of a dance and lots of drinks and a lot of dancing. It was incredible.
Fun. All right, last one.
Oh wow! So this is I think the tears are going to flow in this one. This was when I was married to my second husband. The one who ditched me in Australia. He gave me an incredible opportunity to perform Chinese tea ceremony in front of Microsoft. And so I was performing Chinese tea ceremony in order to raise money for charity. So in Australia, they are incredible at giving back, and they actually had these, it's called Macmillan Cancer Coffee Morning, oddly enough. And so we decided to do morning tea rather than a morning coffee. And so this is me performing Chinese tea ceremony for my now ex-husband.
Hey, listen, the whole collecting, most people don't realize that I've been married 3 times. And so.
Oh, wow. So I'm going after your record. No, I'm only kidding. Never again.
But what's funny is because people are always tell me, they'll be like, it's okay because 3rd time's the charm. And I'm like, yes, but I'm not her 3rd.
Do you know, it's funny actually, Chad, because my second husband and I, we had a bit of a laugh because my previous relationships only lasted 5 years. So we kind of made a joke that if we go beyond 5 years, then we've made it. And we made it to 11 years. And then he decided he didn't love me anymore. So didn't quite make it. But I'm with a beautiful, beautiful person right now. He's incredible, so incredibly supportive.
Don't show him this show.
Oh, I will. Hi, Steve. I love you. You're so wonderful.
We love you, Steve, as well. We love you as well, Steve. All right, we've got one last little bit here, and then we're going to let you go to bed because I know it's late there.
It's Megan Tsang, social media correspondent for Atomicon. Tweet you later.
Now, in business, I talked about, and this is a great wraparound to the earlier I could have been a pop star story. Because, in business, sometimes you are supposed to just take that leap of faith and just go and ask, a prospect. And that's exactly what I did. So with Andrew and Pete, I'd admired them for a while. I saw them at Social Media Marketing World. I thought, oh my God, these guys are amazing. I love them so much. And when I heard that they were running a conference, I pitched to them and I said, would you like a professional live tweeter for your conference? And they said, no, but can you do Instagram and Facebook at the same time? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And if you look at my Instagram feed, it's like all over the place and this, that, and the other. I was like, oh, whatever. But they said yes. And they saw something in me, and I'm incredibly grateful to them because they are really the guys that kicked off my FOMO creator career. And in fact, they came up with the name FOMO creator because
speaking of the FOMO creator piece of this, actually, this little bit that we have here, we actually call the 60-second elevator pitch.
Oh.
So what we're about to do is we're actually about to let you go in the elevator. We're going to open it up. And when the elevator closes, you'll see the little arrow thing will start to move and it'll go to the 60th floor at 60 seconds.
Hang on a minute. I need to finish my story. Can I finish my story first?
All right. I'm gonna let you hurry and finish your story, but then I'm going to shove you in this elevator.
So yes, you've called me out. I clearly haven't watched this show, and I mega apologies. I'll go
No, that's no problem at all. Nobody has ever been on the show and seen it before.
But yeah, so they gave me a chance, and because I knew inside that I wanted to create the buzz and excitement from a conference outside onto social media. So whilst they're doing their amazing stuff inside the conference, we want to give people an insight into what actually happens. And so I went on Facebook Live on their account. I interviewed people, attendees, speakers, and sponsors. I tweeted like a fury, Instagram storied, and they loved it so much they hired me for this year, and they love me so much they hired me for next year as well. So I'm incredibly grateful to Andrew and Pete, because my name, I called myself, was professional live tutor and social media correspondent or something like that. Too long. They said, no, you're the FOMO creator. I thought, okay, yeah, I'll take that one. So that's how FOMO creator came about.
Well, awesome.
Well, I'll break out, before you hop in the elevator, I'll break out some news to you live here on Subpellucid, first time announced. At StreamYard, we're going to be having a user conference. It's a big deal in the fall of this year. And we will probably really need a FOMO person. So we should talk later. But yeah, so there you go. FOMO.
But only if I do my 60-second pitch in 60 seconds. This is the test, isn't it, Daniel? And if I don't do this, then you're not interested in my services.
Oh no, well, knowing you can probably do that and have about 10,000 tweets put out at the same time. So I'm not worried at all.
So what? So the rules are, to do my elevator pitch of what a FOMO creator is in 60 seconds.
The rules are you have 60 seconds to say whatever the heck it is you want to say.
Right.
Okay. You can go all, Hollywood star and talk about climate change. You can, talk whatever.
So unlike the rest of the show where you didn't say anything you wanted to say, now you can. You can get in the elevator and say whatever the heck you want. Let's open the doors, Chad, and get her in there.
It's an elevator shaft, and they've opened up the bottom and I'm falling. Oh my God.
And go. It's running.
Well, hello, my name is Making Tsang, first name Making, and I'm on all the socials as Making Tea. And I call myself the FOMO creator. FOMO creator means the fear of missing out, and I help to amplify the buzz and excitement of your next conference from my two thumbs. On Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, I can do them all. Or even in the comfort of my own home. I do virtual conferences and in-person conferences when we're allowed to go out and play. FOMO means bridging the gap between social media and PR, and that's what I can do for your next event, your next challenge, your next festival, your next conference, your next training course. I can do them all. So get in touch with me, Making Tea, on all the socials, MAYKINGTEA. Thank you for listening. Ding ding!
What a lovely way to burn. 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 What a lovely way to burn.
This is way better than Tim Sohn and his laugh track.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, there were like, I think there's a lot in common between, or one thing in common between this show with Making and Tim, and the one with Tim Sohn, and that is, in both cases, Chad and I didn't have much to say, but for very different reasons. Because over there, Chad and I were just looking like, what? What are we supposed to say? And here we're like, can we? But let's just let her roll with it, because you're doing an awesome job yourself. So that was super fun, really.
And I apologise again for not watching any of the previous shows, but I promise I'll watch the replays, especially yours, Tim, to see if you do a better job than me with the 60-second elevator pitch. No, I'm only kidding. But that was, thank you for stalking me.
Well, next week we have Nick Nimmin.
Sorry?
Next week we have Nick Nimmin coming on.
Oh, right, okay. Okay. That's maybe that is at one time. Oh dear.
I think he just hit 800,000 or almost 1 million YouTube subscribers. So
yeah, I rounded up to 1 million because compared to me, it's like I've got
rounded up.
He's got about 800. Yeah, he's got about 800,000 times more subscribers than we have in our Subpellucid channel.
Yes, but not after next week when he shouts us out and May King tweets us out. Between the two of them, we should be able to go from our current YouTube subscriber list of 46, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we will hit 72.
You dream the dream. 72 subscribers, that would be amazing, Chad.
To dream the impossible dream. Oh my God.
Well, Daniel, Chad, thank you so much for making me laugh. It's 10 past midnight right now. I probably won't be able to sleep for a while because there's so many happy endorphins in my brain. But wow, what a way to kick off 2021. Thank you so much, Chad.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Sounds like this might be a good time to roll the credits.
Let's do that.
Thank you for being here with us. Oh, look. Brought to you by
making whoopee.
She's the only one who's going to get these, so.
It doesn't matter. It's just like, if they could only hear me making laughing and all this.
I honestly feel like you need to have people, like if you were able to show the camera on the left-hand side of the reaction of, your guests, I think it would be pretty cool. Unless they're not funny and don't have a laugh like mine, then it might not be as cool. But I don't know. It's
But May King, this is the first time, and I don't know if Chad noticed this at all, but this is the first one, when nothing technical broke.
Oh wow!
We tried to break something. Like we tried to push the envelope, and like we broke the audience. We broke a bunch of conventions and a lot of taboos.
Probably some federal laws.
Yeah. But we didn't break the internet. So that's a disappointment there. I know Leo loves watching us because he loves to see what are we going to break, and this time we're sorry to disappoint Leo.
Oh, so
did you see?
Is he just a super fan, or he works with you guys, or
he actually watches from prison. They let him give him access in his cell.
Yeah, it's an island that nobody else lets people come in and out of, and in fact they now don't want to leave anymore. They're like, we want to be all by ourselves. we don't want to belong to. We don't belong to nobody.
Did you see that? Did you see Kaplan's kid? He said, "My son just said, Dad, you've been watching someone laugh for almost an hour now. What's the purpose of that show?" Oh, speaking of, we are still live. Let me end the broadcast here.
Again, you did it again.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. Thanks for watching.